Hello everyone, welcome to Club Deck Corner here on Club at 22, the Rangers podcast. We are live on YouTube and on X tonight. Get yourself over to the live chat, the YouTube channel even. Get yourself subscribed and get yourself involved in the live chat as we debrief the Old Firm game. Yet another one that doesn't go Rangers' way for many reasons, as we will get into. I'm Scott Carney. Joining me tonight is Ali Pearson. Ali, how are you?
Better in terms of health-wise, I would say. I know I wasn't great last Friday when I was on. It battled through the weekend there. I think a couple of pints actually helped me on Sunday. But we're here to talk about it. It seems like a copy and paste job, Carney, from previous times we've been to Hampden to play Celtic in big games that we are talking again about big decisions. We'll talk about the actual team in the park as well, which again comes to recruitment. But yeah, it's just the same old discussions, Carney, now.
It is, mate. Yeah, it is, and there'll be stuff said tonight that will make me. I'm sure they will get jumped. I'll be jumped on for being paranoid. I'll be jumped on for always thinking that Rangers are cheated, and I'll get right off the bat probably now that. Out of all the decisions that we're going to speak about, none of them I say guarantee Rangers winning that game of football. But what it does do, it gives us a fighting chance, and that's as honest as I can be about that. But we will have to start, Ali, with pretty much the whole. All the kind of contentious decisions, I suppose, that have happened that happened on Sunday at Hampden. Obviously, there's one that's really making the main headlines, but I thought we'll just start at it, mate. Obviously, we lose 3-1 at Hampden to Celtic. As I said, the score doesn't tell even half of the story, I don't think. So we will start with the contentious ones. There's ones we don't need to go into too much. I don't think there's obviously ones we do. We'll start with Asgard, mate. Red card, correct for me. You?
Yes, he doesn't mean to do it, but letter of the law, he's, as I said in the post-match, Carney, he's high, he's out of control, studs up. It's a stonewall red card for me, so I've got no arguments on Asgard's red card. I will say, and I think you said it on the post-match as well, I was angry at him at the time at Hampden, and it's difficult from Hampden seeing it.
Yeah.
But he didn't mean, when you see it, he doesn't mean to do it, Asgard. But at the end of the day, it was a stonewall red card.
Yeah, he's out of control. It's reckless, mate. It's a reckless challenge, a reckless motion that he makes with his leg. I'll stand by. I don't think he's went to do him there at all. But it's a red card, unfortunately. And at the time, I wasn't happy. I thought he had sold the jerseys, all the usual stuff that goes through your mind, mate, when you're full of emotion watching an Old Firm. But after seeing it back and seeing the reflection, I'm like, fair enough. That is very much a red card. That one's in the bin. We move on from that one. The next one that's not really spoke about, unless you're from the other side of the city, mate, is the Cornelius challenge. I think I don't know. I can't remember what one came first, in my either one, which we will come to as well. But Cornelius, for me, he's an extremely lucky boy here. I'm not going to lie, when you see that back, and obviously you see the slow down, you see the still pictures of it, which will always make something look worse than it is. However, even when you see it in real time, I thought, oh, that's a nasty looking challenge, that. And if there was ever an orange card, but a very, very strong tint of red in it, I think this was that.
Yeah, I'd seen it back. I'm on the 50-50 with it. I've seen them given, I've seen them not given. I agree, a kind of orangey card with that one. I mean, years ago, Carney, you'd be applauding that type of challenge, because that's what used to happen in Old Firms all the time before we had VAR and stuff. He gets the ball, but his follow through kind of studs up a bit, catch the guy. Yes, I've seen them given. If they went off the park for it, would they have grumbles about it? Probably not, to be honest, looking back on it. But again, it's one of the 50-50 ones I've seen in terms of how somebody would interpret that. But if he did go for it, I probably wouldn't have any grumbles for it, if I'm being honest.
Yeah, it's one of those ones that's very much that depends what side of the city you sit on, I think, to be honest, or what team you support. But I was like, when I seen it back, I was like, that's probably a red that, and that was my initial take on it. So, yes, that one probably not dealt with correct. Why there's no VAR review for that either, I have no idea. But again, we'll come to all of that as we go through things. Diamande on Diamande. Again, I don't think there's any malice in this, Ali. I don't think he's tried to do him. However, if you apply the rules in the same way that you applied them to Asgard, for me, this is a red card. And again, I'm only going based on what Nick Walsh and VAR decided to follow. The fact of the matter is, when Nick Walsh went to send off Asgard, his hand was out his pocket before Asgard's foot had even touched the ground. With the Maeda one, it's not that case at all. For me, Maeda is the same bracket as Asgard's one, and he should have been sent off.
Yeah, I think Tav mentioned that in his post-match, that one, in terms of, as he asked about Asgard's, and he did say, well, what about what happened to Diamande? So, again, it's one of the ones that it doesn't mean to do it, really. But again, as you say, the letter of the law, it's high, it's out of control again. It's similar to Asgard's. I put it in the Cornelius one, if you want to say an orangey one for me. I would say I've seen it given. I'm not seeing it given by him, to be honest. So I'd stick it in the kind of Cornelius zone, if you want to say that one.
Yeah, fair enough. The penalty decision for Rangers is a penalty. Whether you think it isn't a penalty or it is a penalty is irrelevant. By the letter of the rules that are in football, it is a penalty. I don't understand people that are trying to claim it isn't. It looks like the ball has every chance of going into the goal. He's flung himself to the ground. It's hit his elbow. It is a penalty. You cannot say that it isn't a penalty. For me, Ali, the correct decision.
Yeah, I mean, Ralston's trying to block the shot, probably to try and hit his body or something. He's trying to tuck himself in, but then you go, it is blocking a shot that's going towards goal that potentially could go in. It hits off his elbow, Carney. So, again, the letter of the law for me, it's a stonewall penalty. There's no discussions about it. I've talked to a few people today that asked, did you think it was a penalty? And I'm like, come on. In today's thing, it stops a goal-bound shot, let's be honest about it, and it hits off his. So for me, I'm sure if it was the other way around, Celtic fans would be screaming for it as well. So it's a penalty all day long for me.
Yeah, and he was according to the rules again, he was right not to set Roma a second yellow for it, because the double jeopardy thing, which I said to you, I think that's double jeopardy. I don't think they can send them off for that or give them a second yellow. So again, correct decision there in my part. Now the one that has caused turmoil, I think, and it's the only one that's really the main talking point, the full main talking point anyway of the contentious decisions that happened, with Trusty leaving the boot in on Jack Butland's face. Again, I can't understand anyone that would argue against this. I can't understand anybody that would think that this isn't, no matter what angle I've seen this from, Ali. Trusty has made the decision after Jack Butland catches the ball to change the shape of his body, to change the shape of his foot and the where his foot was going, and he is directed towards Jack Butland's head. As soon as Trusty has done it, you see his reaction, that you know that he's done something really very stupid there. Yeah, he's booked for this. VAR don't recommend an on-field review for this incident. I'm truly baffled by this one. This is one where I can't not start to use the words like cheat, the words like corrupt, the words like biased, the words like anything that you like that goes against Rangers. I believe if this is up the other end of the park and it's any Rangers player that does that, they get sent off immediately, but the Celtic player does not. This is a scandalous decision, and there's no really other way about it.
Oh, it's an absolute shocker. I mean, even at Hampden, when we seen it, Carney, and as I say, Hampden's not great in terms of being able to see stuff. We all went, when Jack Butland went down, you've seen it, we all kind of went, oh, as if, you know, something naughty's happened there. And when you see it back, when we went back to the pub, I can give it to Trusty at a certain point. See if he's going into the ball and Jack Butland's going for the ball and it's a right 50-50 and he catches him. You could go, right, fair enough, he's trying to get the ball, but he's caught him. Even at that, you would say maybe it's red card. But Jack Butland's got full control of the ball. And Trusty, for some, I don't know what goes through his head, for some reason, flicks the boot out at him. And his studs catch Jack Butland on the head or the face. And as you say, Karen, he puts his hands up straight away as if to go,
because he knows. He
didn't mean
knows.
that, but as if to go, I'm guilty. Let's be honest about it. He's lucky, Jack Butland. Trusty studs up. He could have caught his eye or whatever. I know you and young Ross, the first things you were saying was Nick Walsh wasn't even going over to Jack
He
Butland.
didn't
He was
check.
lying
No,
the
I was
ground.
going to come to that.
Didn't once
going to
check
come
him,
to that.
and it's a, and he's been hitting the head as well. Didn't once check him to see is he all right. It's laughable, Carney, looking back at it. It makes, and you can stick it in a catalogue of umpteen decisions we've had in big games since VAR's been introduced, and outside VAR as well. But in particular, when VAR's been introduced in these big games, there's a catalogue now that goes into it. It's the time of the game as well. Trusty's got to go off the park. We don't know. We can't say Rangers may have won the game. Celtic may still have won the game. We don't know. But it levels the playing field at that point in terms of it should be 10 against 10. And we go into the second half with a hell of a lot better chance than what we had. It's a Stonewall red card. For Nick Walsh to come out of Tav and say there wasn't enough force in it or something.
Yeah,
he's still done it.
That he used.
He's still done it, though.
The force at this point, though, according to the rules, mate, the force is completely irrelevant. It is violent conduct.
Yeah.
It is violent conduct.
Yeah.
Like, you've seen players getting sent off for rubbing foreheads with each other. This guy has left a boot on in his face, and it's VAR that Nick Walsh, and don't like giving him the benefit of the doubt, and it's probably not the benefit of the doubt, but I'm going to give him a slight bit of leeway because it's on field and it's right at the time. The fact that VAR have looked at that and told him, yeah, no, you're right, you're right, it's a booking, it's time to play on, like it doesn't need a review. That's you're changing the rules of the game while the game is in motion. That is cheating, and there's no other way around that. You're now cheating because you're making it up. It's the same bracket as it's more out than it's in. Or so you're admitting that it's in then. You're admitting that it's in the box. Yeah, it's in it, but it's more out than it is in. Again, that's irrelevant. It doesn't matter. You're making up rules. This is the narrative that needs to change. This is the narrative that needs to stop. Nick Walsh, and I said it at the time, when I seen that happen, I thought he's kicked him in the head there from where we were sitting. But I actually stopped getting annoyed at what had happened with Butland, because we don't get a replay. We're not privileged to a replay when you're at the game. And I just watched Nick Walsh walk away from Jack Butland. I was like, this player has been kicked in the head, and Nick Walsh has not once asked if he needs any treatment. Not once went over and checked, because Nick Walsh is too wound up in this little absolute circus that the SFA are on right now in terms of just not upsetting anything to do with Celtic. And he's walked away from him. That alone, mate, that should be disciplinary action for Nick Walsh, the fact that he's not checked a head knock. Jack Butland's been kicked in the head, and I urge everybody to go and watch it back. Nick Walsh not once checks if he's all right. He not once goes over and sees if Jack Butland's okay. Jack Butland's left to get up himself with no treatment. Not that I think that he needed treatment, but he got back to his feet and he got on with things. But no matter what the force or how much force there wasn't, it's completely irrelevant. It is violent conduct, and it is a straight red card.
Yeah, and the issue is, well, I agree with Nick Walsh in terms of he thought it's a booking, and the whole point of VAR is for VAR to come in, Nick Walsh is here and go, right, Nick, I think you should look at this because we think it's excessive force. There's grounds for a red card here. And he goes to monitor, looks at it, and you would like to think, I know he's had previous with Diamande before, where it went to a monitor now, and he still gave the on-field decision to send Diamande off, and I think that got overturned, that one. But that's what VAR's for. The problem is, Carney, and we've banged on about it for God knows how many, and I think someone in the comments said it. Haymark said it the day we brought in VAR. It's the same clowns that are looking at VAR. That is the big issue. VAR's not the issue here. It's the clowns running VAR. And let's be honest about it. It's not just happening to Rangers. It's happening to all sorts of teams. I mean, the one St Mirren get denied against Hearts to go 3-1 up, that was a scandal, that one. Yeah, and there's lots of other ones against lots of other clubs. It's not just us. Let's get that out there. It's not just against Rangers. It's against everyone at the moment. But that is a huge, huge decision that once again, they've shot out of it, Carney. And you go through the catalogue of decisions at Hampden in particular against Celtic. And I mean, that's that one. It was more in than out, Cherney one, which again, should have been a penalty. Yeah. You go through back to the one where Raskin apparently pushed the goalkeeper when Seamus headed it in the ball, headed in the net to go 1-0 up. Nothing in it either. There's umpteen of them now. It's big decisions. And the thing about it, Canny, is we don't have a laugh about it, but we go into these games at Hampden now and we go, we're just waiting for that decision, that the one decision that goes against, because it's happening all the time. But that was a scandal. And referees have come out. The only one that's not come in, I mean, they had a panel. I think it was Neil Lennon and Steve Davis and was Charlie Mulgrew there and everything. And I think they all said, well, that's a red. They all said it was a red. I think the only one that's not said it's a red is, and you'll be shocked to hear it, is Michael Stewart, who likes to play this.
Yeah, shocked.
Aye, so you're not shocked at that at all.
No.
But yeah, where do you go with it? Where do you honestly go with it?
Yeah, so Andrew McGregor, thank you very much for becoming a YouTube member. Very much appreciate it. Thank you for supporting the channel and listening to me rant tonight. But I just say, usually when we come on, mate, I try not to really let your emotions drive it too much and say things that you don't mean. But I've had a couple of days to reflect on it. I've read up on everything. I've looked at everything. I've watched it multiple times over and over again, and I can't get away from the fact is they have made up a rule while on the pitch. They have made up a rule that doesn't exist. You have kicked a guy in the head. It doesn't matter if you've meant it or you didn't. Or not even that he didn't mean it. He's clearly meant it. A guy's clearly meant to leave a foot in on his head, and the referee, the VAR panel have decided that that's not a red card. You not tell me that is not cheating, because that's exactly what that is. I'm now at the point where I know how Rangers should approach them, how we should hold ourselves, how we should represent ourselves. See what we're doing, it doesn't work. It just blatantly doesn't work anymore. They've made enough noise for so many years that they now get away with everything, literally with everything. Not everything. They get the contentious decisions. They're the ones that goes for them, not against them. None of the decisions that happened on Sunday would have affected Celtic's ability to be at full strength and to go on and win that game. That's just a matter of fact. The decisions are just over and over and over and over again mounding up against us. And it's because as a club, which I'm about to come to, we are weak in how we approach this. We are weak in how we address it. And we are not doing enough. We have to stop this pussyfooting about nonsense. See if it means that we're going to annoy people by the fact that we're going to approach this and we're going to put pressure on the SFA, then so be it. You're asking fans to pay all this money for you to be the ones that represent our club in the right way and the right manager to back the team up, to back the fan ups, and you're not doing it. And this is going to continue to run on and on and on. Nothing will change. Generally nothing will change without drastic change from the club. The club have to lead this going forward, and whether they will or not, again, is a matter that we'll probably come to in terms of the statement they released. But Ali, I do think two things can be true at the same time. Are the referees and the VAR structure in Scotland completely incompetent and not fit for purpose? Absolutely. We need an overhaul of the whole refereeing system in Scotland from top to bottom. But at the same time, do I think that there is a bias or there is an element of unwillingness to give Rangers any benefit of a consensus decision? Yes, which again leads you into the grey area of cheating / corrupt, because there is no other way about it now. There is literally no other way about it. Nothing is changing, and it's continuing to happen over and over again. These two things can be right at the same time. Do you agree?
Yeah, and Ewan Minton, thanks very much for the...
Thank you very much, Ewan. Appreciate that, mate. Thank you.
Much appreciated. I agree that the officials aren't up to the job, Carney. We've said it for so long. These guys are just not up to it. What do you do? I don't know. They're not full-time either, these guys up here. They've all got jobs and stuff, but they're not up to it. In terms of is there bias, cheating, etc., I never really want to go down that way because, well, let's be honest, the other side of the city for years used to peddle that quite a lot in terms of
still do, mate. They still do it.
And it's worked for them, and they've done it for God knows how many years, kind of going way back. And then when the referees went and strike and everything, but they've peddled it for years. They've got cheerleaders out there that peddle it as well, and it works for them. And the stats you can see in terms of red cards, all that, penalties, VAR decisions, etc. Celtic aren't affected that much when you look at it. I think I listened to, was it Heart and Hand, and says there was 26 VAR decisions that went wrong last season or something, and Rangers had 6, which was the biggest out of them all. So stats don't lie, can they? And I don't want to sit here and go, yeah, they're corrupt and biased against Rangers, but sometimes you look at it and go, I always remember
that's what I mean. So we're at the point now, so give me an argument that shows that they're not. Do you know what I mean?
No,
because
I know. And
like they are. And I'm not saying it's like it does happen across the board. There's absolutely no doubt that it does. But with us in these big game occasions, in the showpiece Scottish football occasions, all this stuff, we are often on the wrong decision, and it's a major blunder that can affect the outcome of the game. And this is consistent. So clearly something isn't working. And if it's not being fixed and it continues to happen, and again, jumping ahead, the club have went to the SFA. The SFA have doubled down on their decision of what Nick Walsh and the VAR decision made. That's a problem. That's not just being incompetent at your job, which they are. That's more than that.
Yeah. The last few games at hand and playing against Celtic, it's the decisions. I mean, I went through a few of them there, and you can go all the way back to the one where even before they had VAR, when there was the Julian goal, when there was about 3 or 4 of them offside, and there's been huge decisions that have gone against us. It just seems to go against us continually in these big games. I mean, Celtic have had decisions go against them as well. They have. We've seen it. Not against us in other games as well, but they have. But in these big games, in particular, when we play them, when it comes to the crunch, we've been done umpteen times, Carney. And as I say, we go back pretty much every game at hand in recent terms with VAR, and there's always one major decision that's went against us. And obviously, we'll wait for Willie Collum to come out. There we go. We'll wait for Willie Collum to come out in a week's time on his wee VAR show and say, aye, Trusty should have been sent off, we got it wrong, but well, it's too bloody late, isn't it?
Yeah, and then nothing will happen. Nick Walsh will still be appointed as a referee.
And nothing does happen because these guys that run VAR or the referees and that, they don't get... what's their disciplinary process? I mean, you see them getting a game next week, or they maybe dropped for a week, but then they're back in. I mean, you go on, Frank Connor, the guy that was more in than out, VAR decision, Carney, which was a scandal, that one, was running the line in that semi-final there. Shouldn't be anywhere near that type of game. But it's the standard of refereeing and guys that are up here, Carney. It's just shocking. I always remember the game we played against Celtic years ago. In fact, it was you watched in the flat with me as well, and it was the one Rangers actually won at Parkhead, but in fact it was the Gerrard one when we won at Parkhead, and Kevin Clancy was a referee that day. And I remember watching that game, Carney. It was one of the first times I thought, oh my God, it was as if Clancy was trying to cheat. His refereeing was that bloody awful, that game. And when VAR came in, you thought, right, that should eliminate a lot of this. But it isn't at all. And I mean, down the road, I know they do that referee watch every Monday morning, and most of it is looking up at us in Scotland in terms of decisions that's went, and they're laughable down there. And I know they have big laughable ones down there in England too, but up here it's just... in these big games, I mean, if we play Celtic in the semi-final of the Scottish Cup, because that's the next time we'll play them, probably at Hampden, if we get there, which will be Hampden at semi-final, Scottish Cup at the final, what's going to happen then? Because every game you're going into now, you're waiting on something going against you, and that was a big turning point in the game, Carney. And I know we've not actually spoken on the players yet in terms of that. We'll get there because they've got a big responsibility in terms of how they started that game. And as we said, that decision sending Trusty off, Celtic might win on, still win the game. They might still win the game 3-1, 4-1. We don't know that. Yep. But as we say, it levels the playing field, and he should have went off at that point. I
was out with a gentleman today at work, and I'm not generally... This is 100% true. He's a Dundee fan, and that's not about him. I'm saying that it's generally true. He despises Rangers and Celtic. I mean, hates them. He would love to see them not in Scottish football. He can't stand either of them. He doesn't like anything to do with any of the Old Firm teams. So every time we talk about the football and whatever else, he has a wee dig at me, etc. He had one the day, beating Celtic's not for everyone. And I thought, very good, yes, very good, very good. But we got it down to the nitty-gritty and started talking about the game, and I said, right, you're a guy that hates both of these teams, right? You don't like Rangers, you don't like Celtic. He watched the full game. He's like, I'm baffled that you both didn't at least have one man sent off. He's like, Rangers arguably 2, possibly Celtic with 2. He's like, I'm baffled that happened. He's like, I think it's absolutely crazy. He's like, and it makes a mockery of what's meant to be the showpiece of Scottish football. And I thought, if he's saying that, and he knows, like, he can rail me up with some of the stuff he says about Rangers, but if he's saying that, I was going, nah, maybe I'm not wearing my tinfoil hat too tight. I'm just at the point where I'm pig sick of it, mate. I really am. I'm pig sick of paying that money to go to Hampden to watch us consistently be on the wrong decision against this absolute nonsense of a refereeing system that we have ruling this game in Scotland, and it's ruining it. It's ruining it for me. It's ruining it for everyone, and I'm at the point where I'm sick of getting after an Old Firm game and having to talk about referees, mate. I really am, and that might look like sour grapes, and if it does, fine, if that's the way you want to look at it. But I just think now Rangers are going to really have to do more, and right now they're not. And which leads me on to the 2 statements that were released yesterday. One by the fan advisory board, which I thought was a very good statement. They called for an independent investigation in all the matters of the running of the SFA in the way that it's been run, and they are still awaiting an explanation and an apology for last year's debacle in the cup final, which they still haven't had. I thought it was a well-worded statement that they released, and I was behind it. I thought, yes, because it left it open, the dialogue open towards the SFA to that it's not going to go away, it's not over and done with. Compare that straight to what Rangers released. Representatives from Rangers met the SFA, were unsatisfied with it. We'll continue to hold the SFA accountable. Well, you're not holding the SFA accountable, Mr. Rangers, because that is the same statement you released last year. It's exactly the same. There is no call for action to it. There is no motion for anybody in the SFA to not think that matter is now closed and they'll move on from it. I thought it was pathetic. I thought it was weak. I thought it was gutless. There is nothing in that is going to make any sort of difference. Just continuing to release the same statement regarding just how poor these decisions have been against Rangers, and not calling for an investigation, calling for a serious review of what Willie Collum is actually doing, apart from feeding his own ego by having a YouTube show once a month, which is all that is, by the way. Anybody that believes that that's for the benefit of supporters, it isn't. It's for the benefit of Willie Collum. So he's still the centre of attention. It's the club are just, they're not reading it right, Ali, for me at all. They have to do more, and I know there isn't an overlord of referees that we can go to, but they have to do more than what they are currently doing. They have to ask questions of the SFA, not just representative spoke, we're unsatisfied, let's all move on. This has to be club-led. They have to lead it. They'll get ripped apart. They'll get ripped apart by Scottish football. They get ripped apart by all the pundits that will know, all the mainstream media, Daily Record, The Sun, all of them that won't, they'll be literally licking their lips if Rangers were to go and do something like that. But what we're doing right now, mate, is changing absolutely nothing. We've literally went to the SFA. They've went, aye, it's all right. We back up Walsh. Right, there's the door there, gentlemen. See you later. And that's it.
Yeah, they've never come out with real strong statements before, Rangers. As if they've come out and done it as if to not appease the fans, but as if to say to the fans, look, we've addressed the situation. They've come back and says, whatever it is. So I agree. I think it's a bit wishy-washy, but I'm used to this with Rangers, Carney. They do this quite a lot. As I say, Celtic for years have come out, and you know what their statements are like on the refereeing in previous years. But we don't do that as a football club, really. As I say, we're a bit wishy-washy with statements. I just think it was a statement flung out there to try and appease the fans, Carney, and I don't think it has. Well, obviously from your opinion on it, but
Is it a piece due? Is it please due, what they said?
It's reading it, I read it, Kanye, and went, well, that's what I thought Rangers would come out with. It's not very strong worded at all, to be honest, in terms of what happened. It is just what it is. And I think
again, though, now as the club, as fans, do we need to just settle for that? Is that where your conclusion of that? Like, we're now at the point where we just need to go, all right, this is the way it's always going to be?
No, well, I don't think we should settle as it. I think we should be stronger as a club and come out and say, well, Christ, we've got a catalogue we can come out with now in terms of what's happened to us.
Even Connor been involved in that game on Sunday.
No, I know.
Rangers didn't even come out before that and be like, are you having a laugh? Are you having a joke about what we're doing here? Is this for real? We're being trolled, mate, and the club are just going, aye, no bother.
Yeah, no, I agree in terms of their statements. I don't think their statements are strong enough, Rangers, but they're never going to come out and really go at them. I just know they're not, Carney. They've never done it, and I don't expect them to do it. So that's why when it comes out and I read it, I just kind of brush over it because I don't expect anything. But the bottom line is, and we've not even spoken about it. I know we've went through contentious decisions, but the bottom line is recruitment this season. The players on the park, they're no good enough. That's a poor Celtic team we played at the weekend, a weakened Celtic team, let's be honest about it. That's one of the best chances we've had of putting Celtic out the cup. Rangers should have against Celtic. A lot of Celtic fans were going in that game, not worried, but thinking, right, well, Rangers have a chance of putting them out. Once again, you'll go on to it, they're just not up to it, most of these players, Karen. The application's shocking for the first half, and I don't want to just sit here and talk about contentious decisions because, yes, they've affected the game, but ultimately, us as a football team aren't good enough at this present point.
I agree. Yeah, absolutely agree. We will come on and speak about the players. But as I say, quickly to tie up that, the club need to do more. They absolutely need to do more. And I'm not saying, like, I don't expect them to. Like I say, there's nobody to go to. Like, there's nothing that, but in terms of the way that they address things, the narrative, they have to be on the front foot with things, and they have to be much more. They have to complain a lot more. They have to be a bit of a nuisance, a bit of a pain in the arse, and it might annoy the rest of Scottish football. But to continue to do what we're doing now, it's only going to result in the same thing. But we will move to the players, mate. Again, everything that I've said about the decisions, I said at the start of the pod, and I still stand by it. Even if that Trusty decision had been it was made correctly by sending them off, then there is no guarantee Rangers going to win that game. And based on the first half, Ali, we were scared little boys again. It's something we've seen far too many times from this Rangers team, that we can't deal with the occasion. We can't deal with the again, I've really no idea what it is with the pressure that's on it. I've got no idea, but we were terrified in that first half and we looked scared. We had a complete inability to get into the game at all at the start. We very much let Celtic get the impetus and get themselves on top. Without really responding to it. It was poor, pretty much all over, I thought, in that first half. Their goal as well, just before it, the offside goal that again was correctly ruled off for offside, was just an absolute car crash. It really was, and Rangers didn't recover from it, which led to them getting the set piece. And again, we don't do well enough at defending a set piece. Many times I've said that, and we go behind, and it was an uphill battle from there. Obviously, in the second half, Ali, I thought we rallied quite well. I thought Rangers were really much better in that second half, probably because it was the underdog thing. There was not as much pressure on them as well, but I thought we handled ourselves well. I thought the subs at the time, I was kind of looking, going, well, what's he doing here? But they all worked. They gave his legs. Moving James Tavernier into about 3 different positions again seemed to work. Tav, for everybody that hates him, he was by far the best player for me for Rangers on Sunday. I thought he was pretty inspired, to be honest. It's more than I've seen from Tavernier in an Old Firm in a long, long time. But again, Ali, we are. The positives, I thought Mickey Moore was decent. I thought Tavernier was good. The rest I would be struggling to give real pass marks to. And I suppose we have to go back to the where the real problems lie. And as you mentioned, it is recruitment. The front line, Ali, is it's really, really seriously worrying now. Shalmeti, I haven't seen it. I've not seen £8 million on him. I've not seen how we can rely on him as being our starting striker. I really can't see it at all. I don't know what we do with him, because obviously we're stuck with him. I want him to come good, and I want him to start putting the ball in the back of the net, but he had chances on Sunday, mate, and he didn't take them. Miovski looks unrecognisable to the player that I remember seeing in Scotland. He really does. He's really not found his rhythm or a place within this team, whether he's trying too hard to become the first team, the first name on the team sheet in terms of being up front. I don't know, but not happening for him. And again, Danilo, I thought, was pretty ineffective the time he was on the park on Sunday. We have to remember that Danilo has previous as well. But right now, mate, our whole front line, you'd be struggling to say, oh, he deserves to start over him, because I think we've got three pretty poor. Hopefully Miovski's his form. Trumiti looks like he's nowhere near it. Danilo in and out of form constantly the whole time he's been here, obviously with injuries and stuff as well. But right now, the front line, mate, there's to be the figurehead of our attack, we don't have anything right now.
No, there's nothing there. But then you look at the team, Carney, for me, and there's nothing through the whole spine of the team, if you want to say. I think we've got two poor centre halves. John Suter, I've said it for God knows how long, no good enough. Giga, bomb scare. Cornelius, I think's all right. Even middle of the park. Raskin really showed up this season. Asgard, flatters to deceive for me. Just floats about a park, never affects it. And you get to the top line that you're talking about, Carney, in terms of the three players we've got. And I've said in this podcast for God knows how long, Danilo's no good enough. But Danilo found his way as a starting striker in the last couple of games because he scored a couple of goals, because the other two guys are hopeless at the moment. And Chermiti's the guy that's getting battered over the head because he's got an £8 million price tag, which isn't the guy's fault. But at the same time, we're paying £8 million on a boy that's come in, and he looks like a development player, can he? He looks like a guy that we've maybe spent £1 million on in the summer, a loan player, and we're trying to get something out of him. Not a guy we spent £8 million who should come in and hit the ground running. Especially the goals we've lost last season in Dessers, Igaman, Cherny. We've lost all these goals from the front line, and we've not replaced it, but spent big bucks trying to replace it. And Miovski as well, I agree. Shadow of a player. Doesn't look the guy that we've seen against when he was playing with Aberdeen. But Chermiti, two big chances in that game, can it? And you only get so many chances against Celtic. We've seen it with Morelos when he was here against Celtic. You've got to take these chances. Doesn't do it. Doesn't look convincing. And I don't know what you do with him. I really don't. But it runs through the whole team for me, Canny. The first half in particular, and you said that we looked like wee boys. We did look like wee boys. How you can go for starting against Hibs, right? Same formation. I thought we controlled it. We looked confident in the ball, spraying it about. Is it because it's Celtic we're playing at Hampden? Is that what it is? Is it because it's Celtic as a team that they're scared of playing Celtic as a team? Because every time they play Celtic in a game that matters, they shit themselves. Let's be honest about it. When was the last time Rangers won an Old Firm that meant something? The only Old Firms we've won in recent times have been dead rubber games, end of season games where we've won. Even a game away at Parkhead last season, a dead rubber game, but we won it. Yeah. So every game we go into where it really matters, and you're probably going away back to probably the last time we beat Celtic at Hampden, which was a 2-1 in extra time. Maybe the Hollander goal at Ibrox just after COVID. That's the only times we've actually went and beat Celtic when it meant something. And once again, we start like wee boys. And if you start like that, Can, you've got a mountain to climb. I thought Celtic showed the right attitude on Sunday. They come out, they get in our faces. They knew our weak links at the back, etc., who to press. And I thought they showed the right attitude, and we didn't, which is a worry for me. And it's too little, too late the second half, Carrie. How many times have we seen Rangers that you see them in wee bits in games, or they'll come out the second half, play well, but it's too late. So that is my big concern, the mentality. And you go on about it there, James Tavernier, right? best player in the park for Rangers. So what does that say about recruitment and who's on the park? What does that say? A guy that most Rangers fans don't want on the park, but he's our best player. So what does that put us?
I mate, 100% agree, and that's no disrespect to James Tavernier, it really isn't, but it tells you everything that's happening within the club and the recruitment process that Thelwell's decided to go down. There's too many of them that ultimately are just not good enough to play for us, and they won't bring the progression as a club that we need. My biggest fear right now, Ali, is that Thelwell's clearly not going anywhere, and we are fastly
there as well. God.
We're fastly approaching January now, and he's going to be in charge yet again of yet another transfer window, and he's got too much to do in that one window to try and rectify what has happened. We have Fernandez, a player at the back who can't get anywhere near the team, paid $3.5 million for him. We were laughed at by the Peterborough fans when we went in for $3.5 million because they could not believe that we were spending that amount of money on him. Giga, as much as a $10 million signing, I know he's in for a loan for us. I still can't really believe that somebody spent $10 million on him. But again, obviously in the English market, it's highly inflated, the prices in the English market. But again, 10 million, can't see it. Shamiti, 8 million, can't see it. Rothwell, I know he didn't cost us very much to bring him in. I mean, just an absolute flop. He really is an absolute flop. He's not got anything in him at all. He was partly responsible for the third goal at the weekend as well. We went with one left-sided, one left back, sorry, or with a young lad at 19 coming in with no other option there, barring him. The recruitment process has just been a failure. It really has been a failure, and I think the Americans need to quickly wake up and realise that Thelwell and Stewart are taking them for a ride here, and they're just letting them do it. They really are just letting them do it. I'm seriously, honestly, mate, concerned about the fact that we're going to go into a market with Thelwell and his son in charge of this. I really am. I think it's a recipe for absolute disaster. And of course, I want to be wrong. I want to be able to move some players on that we're not using, and I want them to bring in players that are absolutely going to make the difference. So far, I can't see any sort of shining hope with Thelwell being in charge for another window.
No, and there's not many positives with signings. I mean, you just rattled through quite a few of them there, and the only signings you probably would say, thanks very much, Janice, for the
thank you, Janice.
I mean, out the signings he's brought in, you see Gassama, who's kind of went off the boil, but looks good.
Played in the wrong position, but as well, because
I know.
Really a choice as well.
Yeah, I know. He looks decent. I actually think Mikey Moore's starting to come into his own. Playing in the middle of the park, I think he could be a key player for the end of the season. I really do, after a poor start from him. But again, probably where he's been played. Ant-Man's been an absolute disappointment for me. He's just fallen off a cliff, but we've not really seen him. So there's not much there, and then a lot of the players are loan players in the back line. Even Cornelius, to be honest, too. I think he's all right, but would I sign him? Probably
he's
not.
Okay. Yeah, he's all right.
He's all right. Yeah. Is he any better? I don't think so. So the recruitment has been an absolute shambles, and the money we've spent is the best part of 30 million, whatever it is, on all these players. And you look what we've got; it's worse than last season. So the problem is, January's not that far away in terms of Matondo high. Rangers need to go on a run now in the league. They need to put the league. We need to put what's happened in the League Cup to the side now and go on a run in the league. I know the Europa League is there, but it's a sideshow for me, Europa League. So they need to go on a run in the league, Rangers, and probably stick to as close as Celtic as possible in terms of that 5-point gap. If they can keep it to then up to January, and we'll see what happens with Hearts, they've got a chance. But the problem, as you says, Carney, going into January, we've got Thelwell and his son that'll be going into the market. Are we going to go back down to England and shop them there? Because surely they've learned by now that it's not working, and he can come out and tell us about these players that they're going to develop into great players. I don't see it. And the big money signings have been the major letdown. There's no one of them that's really hit the ground running. Because Gassama, I know I'm talking about Gassama as a kind of a pass mark so far. He wasn't big money for us. The guys we paid big money for, you talk about a 3.5 million defender, doesn't get a game for us. Ant-Man, whatever it was, 3.5 million, does he get a game for us? Chermiti, 8 million, does he look up to it? Asgard in the middle of the park, sorry, I don't think he's got the attitude to play at Rangers. I just think he swans about a park, doesn't affect it. That's the major worry. And if we go into January and spend money again, and it's the same type of players, then it's a big worry. And the big worry is getting these players off,
out,
selling it. How do you get them out? They're on big contracts, these guys, decent money, I'd assume. So how do you get these guys out the door? And I think Danny Rule will learn quickly what are these players aren't up to. And it's down to him to bring other guys in.
Yeah, I completely agree. But I just, it's you look at the way things have went so far for Thelwell. I just can't see how he's going to somehow miraculously change the fortunes of his future, I believe, at the club. This window for him has to be the most spectacular window we've probably ever seen as at Rangers in terms of the work that needs done. And yeah, January is always a difficult time to do it, but there's just no way that I've got any real confidence that this guy's going to lead us anywhere. I think Rangers and I have been one that has been slightly hesitant about going into the Scottish market, but just go buy guys that know how to play football in this league. Literally build a team. There's players out there you'll be able to go and get, and my fear is we'll go to the Championship again. We'll bring up a bunch of project players that will just flop. I know Cavan has already said we need experience, and that we do. There's absolutely no doubt that we do. We haven't got the balance right at all, and that's being generous around it. But it's the fact that Thelwell's still going to be in control of it. It's the bit that gives me the real fear. Yeah, it really is. A few players, I say, Mikey Moore, I think, has come onto a right game. I think he looks like a different player. He really does. And I'm not saying that he's kind of setting the header alight, but he's definitely doing so much more than I thought he was really capable of when I first seen him. So that's been a positive. Gassama, we need to figure out a way of getting him on the left-hand side. I don't know how they're going to do it, but we need to figure, because he's definitely the most effective out there. But the striking options are real concern, and an absolute real concern about what we're going to do going forward with the options that we have there. So, yes, not an easy job on Mr. Thelwell's hands, and he's not exactly flavour of the week with the Rangers fans, so good luck to him with that one. Ali, Thursday night, Roma come to town, mate. Wow, fucking brilliant, eh? Honestly. They're absolutely flying now in the Serie A, mate. They're coming to town. They're missing a few players, but they will still be an extremely strong side. I mean, answers on a postcard to what I expect on Thursday night, mate.
Roma, they've not started Europa League very well, Roma. I think they're only in 3 points, Roma. Were they not beaten by Pilsen in the last game or something?
Was it Pilsen that beat them, was it? I've not checked.
Pilsen. Somebody in the comments will tell us.
But
yeah, I know they're
sitting on the spot.
I know they're sitting in 3 points, so I don't know if you can see who they played in the last game. I'm sure it might have been Pilsen or something, but
they played Pilsen, mate. Yeah, get beat 2-1 at home.
There you go. I would look at Europe.
Beat off Lille at home as well.
Yeah, they've not started very well. 1-2-1. Usually Europe.
Sorry, mate. I'm just going through that.
Usually Europa League in previous seasons, we've not been going well in the league. You look at Europa League as a sideshow in terms of there's no pressure on Rangers. They usually go and perform usually, but this season's been an absolute reverse of that, if you want to say. Rangers, to get anything out this Europa League, they have to win on Thursday night, Carney. And then after that, you've got, I think, Braga come to Ibrox in 2 weeks' time after, or whatever it is. So they have to win this game, Rangers. And it's going to be hard because Roma's a good team. I know they're sitting with 3 points in Europa League, but they're a good team. So I just think he's got to bring a bit more. I want him to bring a bit more energy into the team on Thursday night. Legs into the team. I think Connor Barron, players like that. Mikey Moore, I think, should start. Just guys that's going to give us a bit of energy on Thursday night and go out and take it to Roma, because we have to win the game. So it'll be interesting how he plays against Roma. Will he play with a 3 at the back or a 5 at the back, if you want to say? It'll be interesting. I expect Chermiti to play again. I know, but I do expect him to play Chermiti. Christ, but I honestly don't know on Thursday, Karen. It would not shock me if Rangers beat Roma on Thursday. It just wouldn't. And that's me probably thinking back to previous seasons with Rangers in Europa League, because they've done it. But then when I look at this season in the Europa League, there's no evidence saying that they'll beat Roma at all. The evidence would say Roma should beat us at Ibrox, and they should beat us convincingly. So if they want anything out of Europa League, they have to win on Thursday. So the attitude has to be spot on, and they need to have a go at Roma, and everyone needs to be on it. But they have to get 3 points if they want to get out this league, I think.
Yeah, I think 3 points is imperative, mate. But it's a tall order for me. I'm not going to lie. They're I think they're second in the Serie A just now. Again, you can't really take that lightly, can you? The fact that they're second in the Serie A, which is a very, very competitive league. The Italian league, as Scotia will tell you. So, yeah, not the ideal game to be going in after such a poor result on Sunday, but it is what it is. And I get what you mean. Like, you wouldn't be shocked if Rangers win. You probably wouldn't be shocked. Unfortunately, I think that Rangers and that form in Europe is behind us this season. I don't think we're anywhere near it. I think we'll be doing extremely well to be coming away from them with a point. No, they haven't started great, Roma, but I think their quality just completely outshines what we have, unless, I say, Danny Rule comes up with a bit of a master plan. Before we move any further, we've seen Danny Rule now, mate. We've seen the good, the bad, the indifferent. I suppose Sunday can be classed as that, because it's hard to really judge the guy, considering I wasn't 100% sure in the starting 11, and I did say that. And again, it is one of those ones where with an Old Firm game, you just want to go for it. And I would have loved to have seen more legs from the start, but obviously with the red card early in the first half, it does change things. It does change things a bit. The way he set it up in the second half worked. So even though Celtic did get their chances and probably should have put the game to bed before the end of the game, probably should never have went to extra time. However, so far, mate, I'm not even close to thinking he's not the guy. I'm not 100% fully convinced yet that he is the guy, but I think I'm more in favour of him than I am not. I think the guy needs time. He really does. He's going to need time. We have to stick with him, but I do think there's something about him. I think there's something about Danny Rule, mate. I think there's potential there for him to work things out in order to get it right. I like the way he adapts. I like the way that he's not scared to move things around. I think this is all things that have kind of encouraged fans so far.
Yeah, I've been quite positive with Danny Rule so far. He's not giving me Russell Martin vibes in terms of when he came in. So I see positives with him. I think he'll learn, or I'd like to think he'll learn from Sunday, the way he set up against Celtic. He's probably looked at it and thought that formation has done him well against Kilmarnock, and especially Hibs away. He probably looked at Hibs away one and thought, we did well there. And that's probably why he started with it. That's why I said I wouldn't be shocked if he started with the same kind of formation. If it was me, because I don't think Celtic are great and we're no great either, I would have fought fire with fire and went 4-3-3. That's what I would have done. But you never know. So I can see what he was doing. I think he probably thought, similar to Hibs, if we can play, keep it tight, control the ball, etc., we can nick a goal and play it similar to that. Then we've got players off the bench we can bring on. So that's probably what he thought. He probably didn't think the players were going to go out in the first 10, 20 minutes and not know what football was in terms of trying to control it. So, yes, I like the way he adapted in the second half when we went down to 10 men, Carney. It's not as if a lot of managers would have went and shut up shop and maybe tried and nick a goal. He didn't. He went for it. He brought a lot of positive players on. I like that about him. I agree. I like how he adapts in games. He's not scared to make big decisions as well. So I like him. I just hope he's backed in January with the right players that he wants to bring in. Because what he's got to work with, they're not good enough. He'll get a tune out some of them, but ultimately that squad's still good enough to win anything, in my opinion. So it's up to the board to back him in January and in the summertime in terms of type of player he wants to bring in. I don't think you'll see the best of Danny Rule until next season, Carney, until he's got a pre-season and the way he wants to work, similar to when he went into Sheffield Wednesday. But all he has to do is win games of football at the moment. That's all he has to do. And he's got a chance in the league in terms of the fixtures coming up. We've got to go on a run there. But yeah, I've got faith in Danny Rule at the moment. And I hope he is the right guy, Carney, because I don't want to be here talking in 6 months, a year's time, we're talking about another Rangers manager. I want him to get it right. And if he gets it right, ultimately we get it right on the park and his fans, and hopefully we start to win things. So, yeah, I've been positive for him so far. I just hope he can go a run in the league. If he can go a run in the league, I think that'll bring a bit of momentum back to us, because we really need that at the moment.
Yeah, absolutely, mate. I do agree. I think so far you've got to give him the benefit of the doubt. I think there's a lot to be done. I just honestly hope that, and it's hope more than anything else, that I know that he has a big influence on who Rangers actually go and sign, and it isn't just left to Thelwell. I hope he can give some clarification when new players do come in that he's been heavily involved in the recruitment of the player. Do you know what I mean by that? To take it away from Thelwell, to let us know that Thelwell isn't the guy that gets the final say. I hope that that's the case for him. Because unfortunately, if not, as somebody said, if we're left with Thelwell just continuing to do signings, then he'll just be beat over the head with Thelwell signings, which is unfortunate. But so far, yeah, I'm liking so far what I see from Danny Rule. I think he gets it. I think he understands it. I think the fact that the fans are responding quite well to him is all things that are going in his favour right now. And yeah, you've got to applaud him for the efforts that he has made so far with this diabolical squad that we have. Let's be honest about it. Ali, I'm not going to do a team prediction because we've not had we don't have a press conference, so I think Giga had a knock from the weekend, so he might not even be available. So a bit difficult, this one, to predict. But the many players that we mentioned, I would like to see Barron come back in. If Cameron's not injured again, I don't know if Cameron is injured or not. He wasn't in the squad on the weekend, which would make me think that he might have a knock. But I wouldn't be against seeing him and Mikey Moore playing in the kind of tens behind a striker. I think that would be quite interesting to see. But yeah, it'd be a difficult team to predict. So I will say, what is your score prediction? We'll finish with that.
Yeah, it will be a difficult team to predict, because as you say, we don't really know who's injured, etc. I agree. I think Barron should come in. He deserves to start after playing against Hibs. Mikey Moore deserves to start as well for me. So I'd like to see the players start. But against Roma, oh God, I just bloody don't know. I just struggle to see where we score goals from at the moment, Carney. We're extremely powder puff up front, and I struggle to see where the goals are coming from. So I won't go overly negative. I will go 1-1 against Roma. And
yeah,
first
I was
goal
going to say.
Scorer will be, and I was going to say, Chametti isn't my first goal scorer. First goal scorer will be Gassama.
Yeah, I was exactly the same, mate. I thought I'll go for 1-1. I'll go for 1-1. I'd probably take 1-1, to be honest. I'd probably take 1-1 against Roma. You never know, Stranger things have happened. Maybe Rangers will be flying, and hopefully Danny Rule comes together with a master plan, and we see another kind of memorable night against a kind of big European team in Ibrox. That would be good to see. But yeah, a draw, I think, would be good to see. But I say it's a tough order on Thursday. It really is an absolute tough order. But we really need a win. Really need a win to keep any sort of hopes alive for the rest of the tournament. I think that's for certain. So hopefully we get it right. Thank you everybody in the chat tonight. Sorry for my rant. I'm not sorry. I was going to say sorry for my rant, and it's just the way I'm feeling about things just now. I think it's gone far enough now, and I think we, as a club, as a fan base, we need to start calling this out now, because it's just ridiculous beyond belief. I tried to drag Ali through the trenches with me, but he stuck strong. He stuck strong at it, so that's fair play to him. But thank you in the chat. Thank you for new channel members. Thank you for the donations as well. Very much appreciated. And Alistair, thank you for tonight.
No problem. Like I say, we've got the sideshow of Europa League on Thursday night, so I look forward to that. I don't know what the weather's to be like, Carney. No doubt it's to piss with rain on Thursday night or something. But yeah, we've got that, and as I say, we've got one important game in the league before international. The internationals come back into play away to Dundee on Sunday. So yeah, I'll look forward to the game against Roma, and hopefully we can get our Europa League back on track.
Fingers crossed. We will be back on Thursday with a reaction after game, win, lose or draw. That's for absolute sure. Until then, please like the video, subscribe to the channel, all the usual stuff, and we will speak to you on Thursday. We are Club at 22, the Rangers podcast. Cheers, everybody.